Hi there, it's Meonicorn. Today I'm bringing you a book review of The Unseen World by Liz Moore. It's been a long time since my last book review and I almost forgot how to start. But today I'll try to restart reviewing books on my channel because I think it's a very important way for us to know some in-depth thoughts about books. I read this book during the Do It 24-hour readathon, and I know I'm very late on reviewing this book because it's a beloved book on BookTube in 2016. But I just love it so much, so I have to express my emotion of this book. It's a historical fiction set in the 80s in Boston, but in the meantime, I couldn't call it a historical fiction. If you read it, you will know why. The whole story starts as a dinner party. As a college professor and lab leader, David hosts a dinner party at the beginning of each semester to welcome the new graduate students. But at this time, he couldn't recall the story and questions he asked every year to new students. And David's colleagues and Ada, David's only daughter and only relative in the world, started to worry about him. And soon after that, they discovered that David is suffering from Alzheimer's. But different from other books about Alzheimer's, the disease itself is only a small percentage of the story. The Unseen World is not a story about aging and suffering from Alzheimer's. It's a mystery novel, it's a coming-of-age story, it's a reflection of history, and it's also a story about how Ada made peace with her father's life. This novel built a very strong relationship between Ada and David. So when Alzheimer's made changes in their lives, the description of sadness and sorrow really touched me. I was sobbing and even crying all the time when reading this book. And in the meantime, because they are heavily dependent on each other, so the communication between them, Ada and David, and the world are different and difficult. So they have a lot of coping to do when facing the outside world. I found David, the father, has many really charming personalities. And often I found myself admiring him, his behavior and personality a lot. And at the same time, because Ada, his only relative in the world, is really unlike him, so she's a really strong and smart character, and you could find him as charming as David. And here you may ask, why did you say it's a mystery novel? You haven't mentioned any mystery yet. Well, after David started to suffering from Alzheimer's, Ada realized that her father has a big secret to be discovered. When the mystery element is leading the novel, I found myself holding my breath for dozens of times. And the twists and turns in this novel are just fantastic. Often when I read mystery novels, I found some plots have no other functions than surprise the audience. But that's not the case for this novel. Every twist in The Unseen World has its own purpose. Some of them are clues, some of them are background stories, and some of them are the reflection of the protagonist's situation. And besides of the mystery part of the story, The Unseen World is also a brilliant historical fiction. From this book, I learned a lot about the political and academia environment in and before the 80s in America. Especially with the revealing of David's secret, you have a more and more depth understanding of his behavior and his life. And also, amazingly, you discover all his secrets with Ada together and grow up with her. And apart from all the things that I loved and mentioned before, I really like how the author wrote a tiny bit of romance in the story. And I also like the relationship between David and his colleague in his lab. And most importantly, the ending of the story is just brilliant and amazing and fantastic and all the good words. So to sum up, I love pretty much everything in The Unseen World. It has every element that I asked for a novel or a historical fiction or a mystery or a literary fiction. And also, it's one of the books in my 5-star predictions. I wanted to give it 6 stars if I could. It's definitely one of my favorite books in 2017, and I know a lot of people who love this book have read it in 2016, but if for some reason that you haven't read the novel, please go check it out. Especially if you are a fan of literary fiction or historical fiction or mystery. Please go read this book. I couldn't recommend it more. And that's my review or the expression of love for the novel The Unseen World. If you have read the novel, please let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you haven't read the novel, I highly recommend it again. And that's it for today. I hope everybody happy reading and see you next time. Bye!